But so Erika's struggling with this, and of course that's terrible, unspeakable. Most of us cannot even put ourselves in her shoes, while at the same time, she's trying to make sure that Charlie's legacy doesn't die. And in that context, everybody is attacking her over everything, and they're lying about her, and it's one of the most disgraceful things that I've ever seen in public life. And I've seen a lot of crazy stuff in my life as a political leader, and I will tell you that the people who tell you, I was there with her, I was holding her hand, my wife was hugging her while we loaded Charlie's body onto Air Force Two and said the Lord's Prayer, the people telling you that Erika wasn't grieving her husband are full of and we need to be honest about that fact. Excuse my language. My wife says I got to work on my language. She's been telling me that for 12 years, and it still hasn't taken.
Threats just hours before a major public event, an event you've been preparing for, an event tied to everything your late husband stood for. That's exactly the situation Erika Kirk found herself in Tuesday night. Welcome back to the Marquee Report. I'm host Name, and today we're breaking down one of the most dramatic moments of the week. A high-profile Turning Point USA event that almost didn't happen, a widow forced to step back for her own safety, and a vice president who stepped into the spotlight not just to speak, but to fight back on her behalf. Let's get into it. It was supposed to be a landmark night. That Vice President JD Vance was scheduled to headline a Turning Point USA event at the University of Georgia in Athens, part of the organization's ongoing This is the Turning Point campus tour. Alongside him was supposed to be Erika Kirk, the 37-year-old widow of slain conservative commentator Charlie Kirk, and now the CEO of TPUSA. She was also expected to be joined by Georgia Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones. This was a big deal. TPUSA events have become increasingly charged affairs since the assassination of Charlie Kirk last September at Utah Valley University. And having Erika step up on stage has become a powerful symbol of the movement's resilience. Supporters were ready. The venue was packed. And then, just 2 hours before showtime, everything nearly fell apart. According to TPUSA spokesman Andrew Colvett, and Erika Kirk received what he described as some very serious threats in her direction in the hours leading up to the event. Colvett addressed the crowd directly, stepping onto the stage in her place, saying, and I'm quoting here, "I'm on stage here instead of our friend Erika Kirk." That's right, because unfortunately she has received some very serious threats in her direction. It's a terrible reflection on the state of reality and the state of the country. He didn't sugarcoat it. He acknowledged that Erika has been on the receiving end of a lot of attacks from some surprising places, a not-so-subtle nod to the enormous online backlash she's faced from critics both inside and outside conservative circles. Erika herself took to social media to address her absence. She posted, "I was so looking forward to tonight's event at the University of Georgia with our Vice President JD Vance, but after all our family has been through, I take my security team's recommendations extremely seriously. Thank you to our amazing Georgia chapter for your support. God bless you all." That one statement tells you everything about where Erika Kirk is right now. Still committed, still showing up in spirit, but walking a tightrope between her mission and her safety every single day. Now here's where things get really interesting. Vice President JD Vance still showed up. He still took that stage. But what he said went far beyond politics. He opened by telling the crowd that just 2 hours before the event, he genuinely thought the whole thing would have to be canceled. He said, and this is direct, "Well, first of all, I love Erika, and I know that she did get some threats. And about 2 hours ago, I was a little worried that we were going to have to cancel the event because Erika was not going to come, and she was very worried about it." He said he spoke with the Secret Service, decided to move forward, and made a call, telling Erika to do what she needed to do for herself and her family. But here's where Vance didn't just play politician, he got personal. And then he dropped what might be the most powerful thing he said all night. He revealed a moment that very few people knew about. He said, "I was there with her. I was holding her hand. My wife was hugging her while we loaded Charlie's body onto Air Force Two and said the Lord's Prayer." Let that sink in. This wasn't just political solidarity. That Vance was there, physically present, in one of the most devastating moments of Erika Kirk's life. He watched as Charlie's casket was loaded onto a government aircraft. He prayed with her. And the second lady, JD Vance, held Erika's hand as they walked off the plane. This is not a political talking point. This is grief, witnessed firsthand. And Vance wanted everyone to know it. Here's the brutal truth. Erika Kirk has been catching heat from every direction. Online critics have called her the happiest widow, mocking her for smiling at events, for wearing sequined outfits at galas, for appearing alongside Trump and Vance on stage. A viral meme depicted her as a fake grieving widow grifter. A comedian's parody video racked up over 100 million views. Even figures within conservative media have taken shots at her. When some have questioned her appointments, Trump named her to the U.S. Air Force Academy Board of Visitors in March 2026, the same position her late husband once held. Critics called it unserious. Her supporters called it a tribute. There was also the now famous hug. Back in October 2025, at a TPUSA event at the University of Mississippi, just 7 weeks after Charlie's death, Erika introduced Vance on stage, telling the crowd, "No one will ever replace my husband, but I do see some similarities of my husband in JD, in Vice President JD Vance." When Vance walked out, the two embraced. Erika rested her hand on the back of his head. The internet lost its mind. She later explained it simply, "My love language is touch. Whoever is hating on a hug needs a hug themselves." But the scrutiny never stopped. Last, the Independent UK noted that grief doesn't come with a rulebook, and yet the court of public opinion has been relentless in judging how Erika has processed one of the most public, traumatic losses imaginable. Experts quoted by Newsweek have pointed out that this kind of backlash reflects something deeper, a pattern where women who don't perform grief in the right way get punished for it. As one scholar put it, powerful women trigger a backlash as they are perceived as threatening. And TPUSA spokesman Colvett put it plainly Tuesday night. Erika has to live with this constant reality that her kids are one parent away from being orphans. So what does Tuesday night tell us? It tells us that political violence and the threat of it is not going away. Charlie Kirk was killed at a speaking event. Now his widow can't even attend a speaking event without credible threats forcing her to stay home. That's the reality of public life in America right now. And it's a reality that Vance acknowledged directly. He said, "If you're going after Erika Kirk, and not the people who are trying to destroy the United States of America, you're part of the problem, not part of the solution." It also tells us that Erika Kirk's story is far from over. Despite not being at the event, she remains the public face of TPUSA. She has endorsed Vance for a potential 2028 presidential run. She's continuing the campus tours. She's appearing at TPUSA's events across the country, even as she endures threats, conspiracy theories, and unrelenting online attacks. And it tells us something about JD Vance, too. Whatever your politics, watching the Vice President of the United States use his platform to defend a grieving widow, revealing a private moment of prayer and grief that he witnessed personally, is not a nothing moment. It was raw. It was emotional. And for the crowd in Athens, it clearly landed. Erika Kirk didn't make it to Athens on Tuesday, but in a way, she was there. In the conversation, in the defense delivered on her behalf, and in the reason that event almost didn't happen at all. The threats against her are a mirror held up to a country still wrestling with political polarization, grief in the public eye, and the cost of visibility. Whether you're a supporter or a skeptic, one thing is clear. Erika Kirk isn't going anywhere, and neither, apparently, is the controversy that follows her. That's it for today's report. If you found this breakdown valuable, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. We cover the stories that matter from every angle, right here on the Marquee Report. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Where do you stand on this? And we'll see you in the next one.